On day one, President Donald Trump signed a number of energy-related executive orders that sparked concerns among environmentalists and climate activists. The president again withdrew from the Paris Agreement, ended federal support for the wind power industry, ordered the restart of new liquefied natural gas project approvals, and opened up Alaska for potential drilling. Many have since sounded the alarm that these actions will reverse climate mitigation progress made by Trump's predecessors, or even prompt other nations to scale back on their own green targets. However, there are those within the president's own party in favor of climate reform who disagree that all is lost.
I think that oftentimes the climate community has this knee-jerk reaction to immediately put their guard up and disavow anything that might stray a little bit from conventional thinking. And so in the context of this new administration, I think what we should be doing is looking for context clues of what is important to this administration and where we can find common ground.
I think we're actually in a great opportunity zone. President Trump has made clear from his first administration that unleashing American energy is his core agenda.
Here today to usher in a new American energy policy, one that unlocks millions and millions of jobs and trillions of dollars in wealth.
We see that these executive orders are aimed at streamlining the permitting process in this country and unleashing American natural gas, even going so far as to declare an energy emergency. It's pretty apparent that energy is top of mind for this president.
I think what's the major change that we're seeing since the first Trump administration is there's a huge increase in energy demand. And that fivefold increase in energy demand coming from more manufacturing, coming from AI, is the opportunity to build more. And that's good for all kinds of energy.
For several of these women and leaders in the conservative climate movement, the conversation around tackling climate change and global warming can't even begin without looking at energy. Now, lowering emissions is important. In fact, for many, it is key to their missions. However, there appears to be a consensus that in order to do so, the U.S. must meet the current energy demand. This doesn't mean increased reliance on coal, but rather an all-of-the-above strategy, utilizing renewables, geothermal, nuclear, biofuels, and in line with the president's agenda, oil and natural gas.
We know natural gas in the United States is 20% cleaner. So why would we let China build coal-fired plants across the globe, which vastly worsens the emission than clean natural gas in the United States?
I think part of it is an educational piece in recognizing that natural gas, for instance, has a role in lowering emissions, exporting natural gas, LNG, around the world, and replacing it with dirtier forms of fuel, whether that is other natural gas that isn't produced as cleanly as it is here in the United States, displacing coal or burning whatever else is going on, is going to help reduce emissions.
The Trump administration cares about very specific things in the energy sector. It wants costs to be reduced. It wants American manufacturing to come back. It wants us to lead the world in two energy-intensive industries, AI and crypto. And we can work with that to find common ground, because they also want clean energy. And we need to deploy and build clean infrastructure as quickly as possible.
We have to remember that the discussion is about the American economy and our American security. And when you put that lens on it, I think everybody can come to a conclusion that permitting reform is needed. We have to build more. You have to make more energy, move more energy, so you can manufacture more.
By securing this energy domestically, many within the conservative climate movement say that not only will this put the nation in a better position to advance climate mitigation strategies at home and abroad, but will in tandem boost the economy and national security.
We have to prioritize allowing ourselves to build the clean energy, which again ties back to the permitting conversation. We have to enable ourselves to pursue things like nuclear energy, which China is eating our lunch on. They have 29 more nuclear reactors than we have here in the United States. And part of that is because it's so difficult to build them here.
I think we need to be looking at energy from its inception to its disposal. That includes the mining, the labor practices, where it comes from, the processing. And so to me, every energy source has an environmental impact.
Affordable energy is key. It's got to be politically, technically, and economically viable.
We can be positioning ourselves not just as a country that is energy independent, but a country that is energy abundant and dominant. And I think that starts with a lot of what the president's priorities are.
We very much support the president and his interest in producing more natural gas and exporting it to our allies. We also know that makes a more stable world.